I'm John Rose, and I want to talk a little bit about plantain, not the variety that you find in the store that looks like a banana and is used in Latin American cuisine, but the weed variety that you can find in just about every yard, parking lot, anywhere you look. You're within just a few feet of this plant. It's one of the most prolific and yet most valuable plants that I can think of. With over 200 varieties, we have two here in Kentucky that are most prolific, and that is broadleaf plantain and narrowleaf plantain. This plant was known as white man's footprint because it was brought over from Europe so many centuries ago. Has many medicinal uses along with being edible. The leaves can be crushed and rubbed on insect bites, stings, rashes, anything of that sort for pretty immediate and instant relief. This is due to its anti-inflammatory properties. Its nutritional value, it's loaded with vitamins A, C, and K. Now this plant, a little bit of identifying features here. It grows in a basal rosette, as you can see in this example of broadleaf plantain. The leaves are veined, and that's very obvious. They're smooth around. The stems are essentially hairless. It sometimes has a little bit of a purplish hue to it at the base. Looks a little bit like celery, although it's not in the same family. And if you break a leaf off, as I've done here, one of the chief identifying features are these little threads that you can see running through. I don't know how well you can see that. If I hold it with a darker background, you can see it better. And that is a chief identifying feature of this plant. You want to make sure that there are no poisonous lookalikes of this. So that's one of the identifying features. Another thing is the stem, which grows from the center of the rosette. And in the broadleaf variety, the stem looks like this, with seeds and tiny little flowers that grow up from the stem. On the narrowleaf variety, it's a long, straight stem with a tiny flowering head at the top, with a seed head with the little flowers that grow around the fringe of it. This plant is useful not only medicinally, however, is also edible and can be eaten raw in early spring. The seeds make a nice addition to salads. They have a nice nutty flavor to them and are a good trail nibble. The leaves later on in the year, like this plant here is a little bit older, can be boiled and added to stews or any other dishes that you like. Extremely nutritious plant. It's good for ulcers and any kind of stomach disorders, along with being anti-inflammatory, which also makes it great for arthritis, treatment of arthritis and such. So anyway, without getting too complicated, I highly recommend that you do further research on this plant. I may make a more in-depth video later on about it. But until then, I'm John Rose. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you next time.